Hey guys, how's it going? It's Breakout Bag Lunch. Today is February 13th, 2026. Happy Friday. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, at least more than I am. No, I'm not a superstitious person, but today is Friday the 13th, and we are looking at a disastrous day. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. As you can see, on the day we're down a little over $1,000. And just to think, yesterday I was thinking that I was close to getting a payout. Yeah, it seemed like nothing I tried worked. And so, we're going to talk about the trade for today and the specific steps I'm going to take to make sure that I keep this account in good standing. Because, we cannot have days like this. I think this is one of the worst trading days I've ever had. And that's not even an exaggeration. Now, the market was pretty choppy, but I'm not going to place blame on the market. This was really just my fault. I was not being responsible. I was taking trades I shouldn't have taken. And I've actually noticed that this is becoming a pattern. It's not just today that was bad, but I would say this entire week was just not good at all. Even the winning days, I would say, were not that great. I've just been struggling with over trading and not sticking to my system. I don't know what it is, but something has to be done. And so I'm just going to start with a 1 hour time frame, just for us to get an idea of the overall trend of the market. So if you've been following ES, then you know that we had a very strong bearish move yesterday, and then we were kind of consolidating in the overnight session. We had news at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. We get the CPI report, which came in cooler than expected. That didn't really cause any short-term strong moves. Basically, what I was thinking was if we got below, let's say this level here, where price had been touching multiple times, and stay below this level, then that'll be bearish. I'll just make this a different color to make it easier to see. And I was also thinking, well, we kind of got stuck below this level yesterday. We were just trading back and forth in this area. Really, I should put it right around here. So essentially, we're looking at a range-bound market. And if you go to the 1 minute time frame, you'll see that in the beginning of the opening of the New York session, we had a very strong move down, a bearish break of the 5 minute opening range. And I thought that we would get a continuation from this bullish move. What happened was, after we got this bearish break of the 5 minute opening range, notice how we broke this level that I mentioned before, but then we had a super quick snap back up. I was thinking that bullish momentum would continue, at least in the near term, so I got long here at 6853, but then this was just a fake out, and this trade isn't really a part of my strategy, so I don't even know what I was thinking. If you watch my videos, I like to trade based on VWAP and an opening range breakout. I do not know what this was all about here. This is not good. I got short. I exited the longs and I got short. And this is based on a setup I do like to take, and that is based on a fib retracement. If you look, we had a retracement of this down move and then a rejection from the move up, and once we had this break here below this 50% area, and once we also had a bearish break of VWAP, a second bearish break of VWAP in this session, then I went short. But then we had this powerful move up and I covered the shorts. I tried that same setup again, but it didn't end up working, and so that was another loss. But then I noticed here that we were getting a nice breakout. Actually, yeah, we did have a breakout here. I thought, well, 50% ish retracement. Why don't I try to go long here at 6,853.25, which is like right around here. Actually, now that I think about it, I probably would have wanted to wait for a little bit of a deeper pullback, but I got long here, and then I exited that long down here, and then at this point you had an even stronger bullish break above the high of the 5-minute opening range. My idea behind getting long here at 6863.75 was to get long on his pullback, but I just got stopped out, unfortunately. And those were all the trades for today. The first trade I took here was a trade I also took on the Apex account, which was a losing trade as well on there. Now, just looking back on this, I can say that the reason why this day ended up as bad as it did was me. I take responsibility for what happened today. It's not the market's fault, it's my fault. And that is because I was just not disciplined. It's usually a good idea if you lose consistently in a trading session that you should just stop trading, because market conditions are just not in your favor that day. And this is something I know, and it's also something that I've spoken about several times, but I don't know what was going on. I just wanted to keep trading and make up the losses, which worked out horribly, as you can see. So the main issue here was just the lack of self-control and a lack of discipline. In addition to taking too many trades, I also took trades that were not in my trading plan, such as this long here. Now the short here was fine. These two shorts are fine, I guess. Maybe it probably should have just been one trade, but this first trade was not in my playbook. If I wanted to get long, I should have gotten long maybe around here at 943 rather than up here, because at this point there's already so much risk because the market has already moved up so much. So there's not as much value buying up here as there was buying down here. In terms of this other trade here, it would have been better to wait for a retest into VWAP. So down here, that means buying once we had this bounce up from VWAP. So like 1050, maybe 1048 around this time. That would have been a much better area to go long in and much less risky. I guess I can say the same for this trade here. We had another beautiful bounce from VWAP. If I am getting long at 68.53, but it's nowhere near VWAP, then that makes the trade riskier, right? I probably should have just waited for a move to 68.44 around here, and with a wider stop loss and a wider take profit. That would have prevented this loss. Really, my strategy, like an opening range breakout strategy, traditionally is more of a trend following strategy. But if there's no trend in the market, then it doesn't do well, right? The third thing I have to improve on is being able to trade in all types of environments. There are ways to adapt orb and environment where there's not a strong trend. You basically treat orb as a signal to do the opposite based on the way it's traditionally used. So instead of going long when you have a bullish break of an opening range, you go short, and vice versa. If you have a bearish break of the opening range, a break below, then you go long. So I have to get practice with that as well. But setting that aside, if I had just been waiting for it to retest a VWAP and followed my rules, I would have had, let's see, this would have been a winning trade, this would have been a winning trade, and here at, let's see, 9:53, this would have been a losing trade, but the winning trades would have made up for the losing ones. And see, now the market is going in the direction that I thought it would go in, but I just got stopped out. So something has to change, and that brings me to the new rules I'm going to set for myself. I want to make two important changes. One is setting a max loss for the day, and the other is setting a maximum trades for the day. I'm pretty sure you can do this in settings here. I'm going to set the personal daily loss limit to $400, and I'm going to set the maximum trades per day to 2. I think with these two risk settings, I should be able to manage my account more responsibly, because if you notice, the days where I do poorly are the days where I do a bunch of trading. I take a lot of trades. So this is something that has to be prevented moving forward. Otherwise, this account is going to be liquidated. And so again, horrible day, nightmare session. But hopefully I can take a lot of important lessons from this. I don't think there's anything else I want to mention for today. I was looking into getting another Topstep combine, or I was looking at Lucid and Take Profit Trader, but with this session and consideration, I don't even want to look at any of that anytime soon, at least until I get a payout from either Topstep or Apex. Otherwise, I'm not interested at the moment. All right, I'm gonna release a video this weekend or on Monday. Monday is a federal holiday, by the way, so the market is not going to be open all day. I think it closes at 12:45 Eastern Time or 11:45 a.m. Central Time for futures, and the market is closed, at least the NYSE and NASDAQ for Monday, completely closed. So I'm not sure if I'm going to trade on Monday, but I'm going to release a video just with an outline of my strategy and the way I view the market. I think that's going to help me moving forward, and hopefully you find it useful too. All right. I definitely need a reset after this. This session was for sure a wake-up call. But if you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. But if not, enjoy the rest of your day. I really do hope you had a better trading session than I did. Happy Valentine's Day for tomorrow, and I will talk to you all this weekend. Bye.